Oh boy. Well, folks, I'm writing it on the fly and see where it goes. I went long. First of all, it's an honor to be here and to be among all of you. I'm humbled by all of you in this room. And anyway, hey, folks. Indeed, I want to echo the big boys with a resounding thanks again to Melania's stellar education programs. Like that viral video said, wherever would our country be without those? I mean that, sincerely, just in case. 3 years ago, I found myself on stage in the Time 100 Gala in Manhattan, espousing a measure of concern around the potential for a collective tumble down into the world of AI without clear guardrails or open eyes, into the looking glass with no roadmap home. Well, at the time, it seemed quaint, charming, inconsequential, a non-threatening speech, so random, ahead of its time and off-topic, that I was even able to call upon beloved and fringe ukulele performer Tiny Tim, who sang Tiptoe Through the Tulips to sweet laughs and nods of agreement all around. Well, the feeling in the room was unanimous and palpable. Why ever would we be silly enough to give up and let AI win the day when we were so clearly at the peak of our powers as leaders and innovators? Well, that speech/warning came off as a comfort among that crowd. We shared this mutual knowingness, that we're all part of this beautiful and perfect human ride together. I'm grateful to Time for listing me yet again. After all, in the ensuing years, in fact, I fully went down the rabbit hole with you all. I co-founded a studio with brilliant filmmakers and engineers, and we had the profound distinction of the first underlying licensed model, of which I am deeply proud. I also had front seat access to the wider world of this Wild West, and I'm not talking Tinseltown and movies. I mean the real world. And boy, do I gotta say, I am quite shocked by the accelerated pace of our current situation. For reasons unknown, we have willingly submitted to a full surveillance state, done away with all copyright law, agreed to data theft for illusory convenience, and perhaps most egregiously, allowed for sweeping and irresponsible data farming in our working class communities, a clear and present danger to our environment and society. What are we doing, friends? Not to ask the obvious, but just, why? I mean, maybe my question tonight is a naive one, and that's A-okay. After all, I'm just an over-the-hill bimbo who sounds like Sylvester Stallone. But I guess it did feel incumbent on someone to just step up and at least question that old notion. The one, with great power comes great responsibility and so forth. Well, I need to believe in hope, that we can wrestle some grace back here if we get unified around our shared humanity. Wait, what's that? An optimist in this economy? In this regime? And yet here I stand humbly before you, wanting to believe. Real talk. Whatever happened to being cool? Wouldn't all those heavy hitters rather a legacy of some form of good? For real, what's the vibe around here? It's just a bad look, friendos. Hot pitch. Let's turn it around. Back when I first learned of the existential risk posed by AI, I immediately had tentacles up. How swiftly we went from quaint paperclip problems to an empire of AI. One of our honorees tonight, Karen Howe, has made it quite clear we are now consolidating extraordinary amounts of political and economic power, laying waste to the environment, shortchanging labor, stealing data and IP, and eroding democracy. What gives? When I was your age, that used to be the kind of thing that gave us collective pause to responsibly reassess. Well, still a dilemma, this promise, right, of progress, simultaneously appealing and yet eerily, increasingly inevitable, despite all better judgment. It seems the least we should do is get to protecting one another, maintaining this tidal wave rightly. To quote the great and recently deceased Assata Shakur,
Nobody in the world, nobody in history has ever gotten their freedom by appealing to the moral sense of the people who were oppressing them. So one wonders why bother, why stand up here? And yet, to quote Buckminster Fuller, we are called to be the architects of the future, not its victims. So I guess this one says, hey, fuck it, why not? Yeah, let's pause a moment, right? So we don't lose the plot, celebrate some. Congratulations to everyone here. You're all already winners. Let's toast to that. Okay, I'm guessing that this speech won't win me too many invites to New Zealand safe houses, but I'd rather die in Manhattan anyway, so I'm not sweating it. You know, I've gotten some flack for, like you, being curious by all sides of this seductive conundrum, and maybe I'm guilty as charged. But, well, I believe it is a crucial move in this moment to ensure that artists have a seat at the table rather than the other way around. You know, back when we set out to create this first licensed model in town, everyone said it was impossible. Turns out that was just a euphemism for costs more, meaning anything is possible at scale. I learned a lot from that lesson. And I'm proud by what we pulled off, and now I'm here and in this stew with you all, with more intel and more, you know, information than most, perhaps. So yeah, I feel pretty committed to looking out for one another, seeing this thing through, before this whole thing derails into Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. You know that classic. Oof. Let's get some appropriate attributions and regulations going rather than just burning down the house and acting like it was inevitable. I know it's inconvenient, it's expensive, but let's get real as technologists. It's possible if we want it and we fight for it, right? Let's also keep championing hope when we see it. Hey, shout out to AB 1064, the leading ethical AI development for Kids Act, which had real teeth. Kudos. Let's keep that kind of needed courage up. Call me a fool, but I gotta believe in us and believe in hope, or at the very least the hope that we get very serious about those respectable throwbacks, you know, shame, accountability, tithing. Jesus is still popular, right? Whatever happened to philanthropically mandating wide sums towards clean energy? Let's protect our rural communities as we scale. It reminds me of what's that one, you know, Zuck's favorite dude, Augustus Octavian. Festina lente, make haste slowly, meaning thoughtful, mindful, measured ingenuity, lest we find we've played ourselves a mess of baffled kings, and we all know that's coming, right? I swear there's room for nuance here if we just demand it of ourselves, a sacred pause to look out for each other as we scale. There's no need to be quite so ruthless with our own species, folks. Yeah, I know it's Altman's kink, but holy hell, is it reckless. May this be received with the humility and heart and open mind I intended. I care deeply and believe this room is crucial enough to say this stuff and give it a shot. Now, before I peace out to a lifetime of being over-audited by the IRS, I'd just like to thank time for this honor and the chance to be here with you all tonight. The opportunity to express some free speech while we still can. So, to quote the other Tiny Tim, may God bless us all, and to all a good night. Thanks.